YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Heading into NFL Week 9, I got my score predictions for every game. We take a look at the lines for each game like we do every single week, every single Wednesday. Straight up picks with the other guys of the Goat House already up for Week 9. Those go up every Tuesday night. We got power rankings up. Got a video talking about Odell Beckham Jr. We graded the most recent trade deadline trades, of course, so check those out. I'll put a link to all those videos down in the comments, but of course they're on the channel. Follow our Twitter for constant NFL updates. Link down below for that as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, to notifications on. There's our Twitter. A lot of updates, injuries, guys getting put on the COVID list, talking about Odell Beckham Jr. with that nonsense going on. But let's get into the score predictions. Thursday Night Football, the Jets are a little tricky, and obviously they're a little sneaky. They snuck up on the Titans. They beat them. They scored 34 and beat the Bengals, the red-hot Bengals last week, and that was impressive. Mike White's first start looked pretty solid. So, it's tricky to figure out the Jets. There's one week they look like a pretty decent defense. They gave up 54 to the Patriots, though, just 2 weeks ago. So they're so inconsistent defensively, So this is a tricky one to predict. I'm confident with the Colts winning, though. The score line's interesting, but it did seem like they have a boost in their offense, the Jets, that is, last week and with Mike White. I think the problem before, Zach Wilson was kind of missing a lot of the drive starter throws or the third down throws, kind of underneath the throws, the layup throws you should make. Mike White was hitting them. So then that produces, in the end, more points. So could they keep that going? The Colts, I think, will create a turnover or two. It's really about Wentz taking care of the football. That's what it's about there. But I think the Colts will be in control of this game the whole way, and the Jets will kind of try to stay in it. But it's a really tricky one to figure out the score. Because like I said, the Jets defense has actually looked very solid, then pretty bad. The offense has been pretty bad for the most part, except for last week. So we'll see what their identity is, if there is a new identity. But I got the Colts winning by 7. I think it will kind of be a comfortable 7 on Thursday night, like I said. Next game, Browns-Bengals. That's probably the toughest one to pick of the week. The Chiefs-Packers is pretty tough, especially with the Aaron Rodgers situation. He's going to be out. I think that makes it tougher because I had the Packers with it. We'll get to that game. We'll get to it. This one's extremely tough, though. Both teams need a win here. Browns a little cold right now. Bengals coming off a tough loss against the Jets. Bengals at home. I'm going to go with them in this one. It's a tight one. If it was in Cleveland, maybe that would be the difference. I'd go with the Browns. Have the Bengals seen a team like the Browns yet? I guess I compare the Steelers game a little bit, which was earlier in the year. Could be similar to that. Really, the difference, the Browns are beat up a little bit, and everybody is. The Odell situation definitely doesn't help. I felt like, maybe why they had a shot. Stefanski was saying they're going to get Odell going more. They're going to get the passing game going more. And if he says that, I think he kind of means that. I think they're going to draw some things up and kind of throw that defense off. But now Odell not at practice. So there's just too much of a build-up there for me not to like the Browns, but they really could win. The Bengals' offensive line, I could see kind of come back down to earth now to what it was. We saw that a little bit against the Jets, against Myles Garrett. Could that be the case? It definitely can be. The Browns also can pound the football and run some clock, but the Bengals have been pretty solid stopping the run. They had some struggles, oddly enough, against Mike Carter last week, but I think the Bengals will have success defensively here. And I think the key with their offense is the collection of receivers. I look at, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, etc. These guys, Joe Mixon involved in the passing game as well. I think that may be too much for the Browns. Good secondary. We've seen them have troubles trying to cover the, entire passing game of the Cardinals. I think it could be similar with the Bengals. They won't give up as many points here. But, the key is just getting after Joe Burrow because you could throw him off a little bit. He beats the blitz, it seems like, but just edge rush, if you can consistently get that, you could throw him off. I'm going to go with the Bengals. The defense going to do enough here. I think the collection of receivers, like I said, will be enough offensively as well. But that should be a really good game that can go either way. I like the Cowboys in this game. Dak's going to play. Of course, if Dak doesn't play, this changes. I'm going to still go with the Cowboys. I'm going to have Cooper Rush going 2-0 if that's the case. But it's going to be real tight, kind of like the Vikings game, if that's the case. But the Cowboys are just a much better team here. I'm thinking Dak's going to play, obviously, as well. So, and it sure sounds like it. Though, the Broncos defense we kind of view as being a pretty good defense, but then it was taking some step down, big steps down here. They played the Browns a few weeks ago on Thursday night. They didn't give up a whole lot of points, but if you watch the game, they couldn't tackle. They looked like a mess. And then last week against Washington, they looked kind of back to normal. They looked really good. They're tackling well. They're flying around the football field looking real good. I don't think that's the case against the Cowboys, though. Got to worry about the run. You got to worry about the pass. You got to worry about Dak. That offensive line, top tier as well. It's just too much for them to handle, and I don't really trust the Broncos offense to do enough in this game. So I just really like the matchup for the Cowboys. I think it's a bad matchup for the Broncos here. So Cowboys by 2 scores I got. I think it's possible we can even see a bigger win for the Cowboys as well. So 9.5's a lot, but I do like it actually there for the Cowboys. Texans, Dolphins, tricky one because I do this video every Wednesday. It's Wednesday right now, and Tyrod Taylor is practicing. He's progressing, but we still don't know if he's a starter. Now, if Tyrod Taylor starts, Texans very well could win. Davis Mills at quarterback, they very well could win that as well. Way better shot with Tyrod Taylor. I still don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to pick the Dolphins this one. Even if Tyrod Taylor plays, there's still a factor there besides Miami being home that I don't know. Texans, it feels like because they looked pretty good earlier in the year. And then the quarterback went down, obviously. But they've declined, outside of that since then, I think. And you can make the case for the Dolphins, too. But I'm going to tell you what I mean. Not a lot of great effort out there, specifically defensively for the Texans there. So that's kind of what I worry about here in Miami. The Dolphins are still playing hard. And they've been close some of these games. They start off strong. They were beating the Bucs for a little bit, playing the Bucs tight. Then it got out of control. They were beating the Jags most of the game, and that got out of control. They were sticking with the Bills for a second there. It looked like they could beat them, and they kind of have a mess up there as they're pushing the ball down the field. Bad snap, sloppy play. So this could be the week where they put it all together. They get things under control. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. I think it's going to be a tight game, though. Them being home helps. Again, the Texans' chances increase if Tyrod Taylor goes. It just depends. Do they want to tank? So they keep Davis Mills in. Even with Davis Mills, they can win. I'm surprised by the line at 6.5. I definitely think it'll be closer than that, and the Texans could win the game. If Davis Mills is a starter, then I guess I can see the Dolphins winning by a touchdown. I just think it's going to be tighter than that either way. So I'll go Dolphins. I've been pretty accurate on Dolphins games this year, but this one I'm not. It's not one to be super confident about. So we'll see. They just got to finish games here. Dolphins always start pretty solid. Next game, Falcons Saints. I think another tricky one because we don't know who's playing quarterback for the Saints. Some think Taysom Hill if he's back. He's missed a few weeks with a concussion, which is odd that he's missed that many weeks with one, but thinking he'll be back. Trevor Siemian could be the guy as well. I think too many people probably will, and Siemian can come out, look good again. Not saying it's not possible, but I think too many people will kind of get a little too hyped in the last game, how he finished against the Bucs, and just think that'll repeat itself because they're playing an easier team. It's not how things work. I do worry about the Saints quarterback play in this game. I would definitely prefer Taysom Hill in this game, in my opinion. I think he'd have better success against the Falcons, just matchup-wise. But I think it'll be low scoring. I don't think we'll see too many explosive plays, passing the ball down the field from the Saints offense. The Falcons defense does feel like it's getting better at the same time. Kamara will make big enough plays, and more guys will make plays, but they'll get Kamara out in space. Going to run a lot of clock. He'll find the end zone at least once here. But I don't expect a whole lot of scoring, because I don't expect a whole lot from the quarterbacks. And this is a game they can win kind of being you don't really want your team to be conservative, but it's a game you can win doing that because the Falcons it's for poor matchups for them is just good defenses. We saw them get on a hot streak, but as soon as they played the Panthers, it's a good defense. No matter how bad their offense is, it's just a good defense, and that was just a matchup problem in Atlanta. This one's in New Orleans, a tough place to play. I think it's going to be a defensive game. And any defensive game usually from both sides ends up being close. So I got the Saints winning by 3 here. It's going to be interesting to see the Saints quarterback situation, but Falcons missing Calvin Ridley, pretty tough as well. Next game, Raiders-Giants. I think this one's going to be extremely close. If the Giants weren't as beat up as they are, and a lot of teams are beat up, again, but if the Giants weren't as beat up as they are, I would pick them in this game because I do kind of like the matchup a little bit. I love the way the Giants defense is playing. They played a great game against the Chiefs as well. They've been playing great in general. They played great against the Panthers. They're kind of it feels like they're getting better every step of the way here, their defense, that is. And the Raiders, when it's pretty simple. It's really simple, actually. When Derek Carr is kept clean, he looks like an MVP candidate, actually. And then when he's under pressure, the Raiders' offense is pretty much non-existent. So it's pretty much night and day there. The Giants get a pretty good amount of pressure here. It's mainly coming from the defensive front with guys like Leonard Williams. Dexter Lawrence is pretty solid. They're getting Azeez Ojulari from the edge, going a little more. But the Giants, I like the defense too. They'll run some stunts. They'll blitz. So they may be able to slow down the Raiders' offense, get after Derek Carr a little bit, and that's definitely possible. It's just really hard for me to fully trust, and they'll score some points. I think I'm scoring 23, but fully trust the Giants' offense, whether it's just coaching, play calling, Daniel Jones, and then because they have so many injuries in the offensive line was allowing the Chiefs' bad pass rush to get a lot of pressure. So injuries played a part there as well. So I got the more of the matchup, I almost side towards the Giants, but because of health and just, where I can, the Raiders better in key spots, quarterback, even though Raiders offensive line struggle a little bit, offensive line for sure, and coaching, it looks like without John Gruden even. So I'll take the Raiders. But to me, it's an interesting game. It's really how much pass rush will the Giants get, and that could be the difference maker there. Daniel Jones got to be better as well. But I'll go Raiders in a squeaker here. Patriots, Panthers, I love this matchup for the Patriots. I love both these defenses. We see the Panthers, I loved early on, and then Shaq Thompson's very underrated. Shaq Thompson got hurt, and still a solid defense, but not really the same. He comes back, and they get Gilmore back, and then they dominate the Falcons, who were kind of heating up on offense previously. So I like the Panthers' defense a lot. They got some unique looks in terms of blitzes as well. The Patriots, I love their defense. A lot of unique looks that we're used to from Belichick. Play some tight man coverage. I'm going to trust the Patriots a lot more in this game. I think it's a really good matchup. Defensive game, but the reason I'm going to, the Patriots win by 10 for me in this one is I'm going to trust their offense a bit more. The running game, we'll see when McCaffrey's going to be back though, because that can shift things a little bit for the running game battle. But I still like the Patriots. But quarterback play, Darnold, he was okay last week, but throwing the ball consistently, he's been inconsistent actually throwing the ball there. Concussion protocol as well, so that can play a factor. And he usually doesn't play well against the Patriots. I just don't see him much at all, success at all against the Patriots defense. It's just that good right now. Where again, the Panthers defense is very good. The Patriots, I think they'll be effective enough on the ground because they're getting better and better on the ground, but they're getting better in the passing game as well. More explosive plays downfield. And I did say the Panthers are very good at blitzing. Mac Jones has been pretty good picking up blitzes as well. It's not like he lights them up. It's not like he's going to light up this defense here. The Patriots will do enough in this game. It's kind of an even matchup in styles, where their strengths are, but I think it definitely favors the Patriots in my opinion. So I'm going to go with the Patriots in that one by 10. Low scoring, especially for the Panthers there. Bills, Jags, not a close game here. Ass beating. I like the Bills, 34-13. The Bills were a little rusty off the bye last week. This is a game that kind of gets you going a little bit more. So they'll have success offensively. Deep shots downfield will be there in a game like this for sure. And I like their defense against the Jags. They're going to run a lot of cover two. They're going to run some trap coverages. Trevor Lawrence didn't look too good last week. It's just a boring offense for the Jags. It's not too hard to game plan for. This stout defense, and the Bills will have an easy time here. So, I think they'll play a pretty complete game and they'll win big here. So I like the Bills for all those reasons there. Vikings, Ravens. I actually got a close game. I got 30-27 Ravens. Matchup, I think it sides with both these offenses. I think both these offenses, for matchup reasons, will have pretty good success here. Michael Pierce is back, who actually was a former Raven, but is back for the Vikings, and that was kind of a reason that they haven't been able to stop the run too well. So Michael Pierce is expected to be back. That should help the Vikings, but I actually love the matchup for the Vikings, believe it or not, with the Vikings offense, who's actually been struggling lately. I mean, they couldn't score much on the Cowboys, and the Cowboys defense is good, but the Ravens defense is pretty good. But I look at the specific matchup. The Vikings struggle against teams that, get good pressure off the edge, but it seems like in the passing game they beat the blitz/man coverage team. That is the Ravens. The Ravens are the ultimate blitz man coverage team. So Thielen, Jefferson, they usually beat man coverage. Kirk Cousins is very successful against the blitz as well. The key for the Ravens would be switch it up a little bit, throw them off, run a little more zone coverage, and Hopefully your edge rushers can get some pressure. So I think the Vikings, they got the keys here for their offense versus the Ravens defense. I just don't fully trust them. I think they'll start the game strong. They'll probably have some bad play calling, get conservative, shut it. It's almost like they shut things down a little bit. But I do think Lamar Jackson will be a problem throughout the course of this game anyways for the Vikings. So that's enough for the Ravens. That's enough for me to pick the Ravens here. So I could see it again. I can see a scenario where the Vikings win. It's a little bit of a, you feel like the Ravens are much better than the Vikings. The Vikings just lost to Cooper Rush. Maybe a little bit of a trap game for the Ravens. I just don't trust the Vikings to finish, and I'm going to trust Lamar Jackson out there here. And again, the Ravens could just throw him off and give him way different looks on defense that they just didn't game plan for. It's definitely possible. The Ravens did that against the Chiefs this year, and they finally beat the Chiefs because of that. So they could do it here. They definitely can do it. But it could be somewhat similar, playing the Bengals offense. It's actually pretty similar. The Bengals will throw more. That'll be the difference there. But I'll take the Ravens. I think Lamar gets the job done there. Close game, though. Chargers, Eagles. This is a very, very tricky one to predict the final score, like the total of the game. I'm confident with the Chargers. There is a scenario where the Eagles beat them, and that is because the Chargers are the worst in football at stopping the run. The Eagles are pretty damn good running the football. We saw that last week. They got Hurts. They've been getting Hurts going, but they got Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, these guys going. They can use Gainwell. They're very, very solid, in terms of the run game. And they could expose that for the Chargers. So this is a big, starting with the ball is big in this game. Like, you got to win that coin toss and you got to get the ball. That is actually huge in this game because the Chargers will have success passing on the Eagles. I talked about it all week. The last two games where the Chargers surprisingly did not have any success offensively. Ravens and Patriots, both man coverage defenses that show unique looks that you cannot read pre-snap. That's what those defensive coordinators, coaches are famous for. It is not the Eagles defense. It's the complete opposite of the Eagles defense. They're not going to get any unique looks. A lot of zone coverage you can throw on them. So Herbert should have himself a day. But if the Eagles start with the ball and they are just draining the clock and pounding it down the field and score 7, kind of like the Patriots game, the Chargers, and just change the time of possession game where it doesn't give Herbert as many snaps, not enough time to get things going, that makes things tricky. So the Eagles are going to try to do that, and they should have success on the ground in terms of running the football, but they don't really present much of a threat in the passing game, the Eagles, that is. So I think the Chargers are kind of they'll make Hurts beat them in the passing game. They'll kind of buckle down, focus on stopping the run a little bit. They won't stop it. They'll slow it down more than you think. I think Herbert will have a lot of success here offensively. I think he can have enough success to score 30-plus points against this defense. I think he can really torch this defense. But again, there could be that scenario where there's a ton of running clock, so it could end up being low scoring. So that's why I said it's a little tricky to figure out the total of this game. But I do like the Chargers. -1.5 looks pretty good. Again, there is a scenario where the Eagles just control this game, with the clock and forces it to be tight. I'm feeling the Chargers, though. I'm feeling them here. So it's just not the same matchup as the last couple of weeks where the Chargers have struggled. Packers, Chiefs. I had a hard time with this one. I picked the Packers, and then Aaron Rodgers this morning, COVID list, so he is actually out. And I'm sitting there thinking, the Packers still might win. I'm surprised by the 7.5 line here as well. That's too much in my opinion. So I do like the Packers a lot, plus 7.5. I do. I know you're kind of putting a lot on Jordan Love there. Whether it's with the 7.5 or you're picking them in general, you are. So that it is a little tough, I suppose, a little risky. But I almost stuck with the Packers. I'm really having a hard time with this one. Like, I'm not even firm on my pick right now who I'm picking to win the game, and that kind of tells me I like the Packers plus 7.5. Because the reason I was picking the Packers before is I thought they were going to run all over the Chiefs, with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. People forget, I think because of Aaron Rodgers, people forget that how dominant of a running game the Packers have. They're very, very good in terms of their rush attack. And A.J. Dillon's really coming along too. So they got the duo running backs in there. And does that change a whole lot with Aaron Rodgers out? It doesn't change. I think it changes the running game, but I don't think it changes a lot at all. Barely any. They should still have success, but how do the Chiefs change? Do they kind of stack the box or play a little closer line of scrimmage a little more, just prepare for the run, make Jordan Love beat them? But then if they if they kind of allow that space, Maybe Jordan Love, getting Devontae Adams back. Maybe he can beat them downfield. We really just don't know. We know he has the arm strength. Preseason, he looked pretty good, kind of getting the team downfield. Red zone is where he made mistakes, accuracy issues, poor decisions. He came in at the end of that Saints game. Saints started to put a lot of their backups in, but Love did look pretty good coming into that game. So it's really tricky here. And Jordan Love should be kept clean in this game too. It's kind of going to be on him because there's sometimes quarterbacks are kept clean, but you don't realize it. You think they're not because the quarterback themselves will step into sacks or roll the wrong way, leave the pocket too early. That could be the case as well, which he kind of can get himself into pressure. So that's a possibility. But the Packers should be able to run the ball effectively, and they should be able to scheme up plays for guys like Devontae Adams, and the Chiefs' defense is still. It actually feels like it's gotten a little better recently. They played the Giants last, and they played Washington, so it's kind of tough to tell where they had success defensively in the recent 3 weeks or so. So it is a little tough to tell. I do think the Packers' offense is better than both those teams, even with their backup quarterback. I think a lot of running the clock. The Packers, maybe in the red zone, I worry about that. Finishing drives, getting touchdowns instead of field goals. But then I look at the Chiefs side, offensive. I still really worry about the Chiefs defense. I'm not, turnovers aren't good. Mahomes isn't playing great. I'm not really worried about the Chiefs offense though. That doesn't mean I think it's going to be just perfectly fine. It's still elite, the best in the league. No, not what I'm saying. I'm just not really panicking at all about it. I look at the Packers had a really good game plan for Kyler Murray and the Cardinals because they know they want to attack downfield, and they kind of made them go underneath, and the Cardinals just aren't used to that. And they could have that same approach to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs, they can get things going underneath. If they watch the Cardinals film, I think they're going to come out attacking, a tempo underneath. The screen passes to McCole Hardman were working last week as well. I think they'll probably attack that underneath and get down the field. I think a lot of clock's going to come off. I think this could be more high scoring just because, I think the Chiefs could, again, do that, expose that, and then kind of because the Packers are beat up at the corner can, help there as well. That would help the Chiefs. But I think a lot of clock going to be coming off. I think the Packers will lean on running the ball quite a bit. So a lot of clock will come off. So 26-23 is what I have. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. It's a tricky one. The Packers come out, run all over them. And put the Chiefs in a tricky situation. I think 7.5 is too much, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I've been back and forth on that one for sure. It's tough, and it shows how good the Packers are. It's that tough with Aaron Rodgers out, and that's kind of the thing, though. Aaron Rodgers is out. Maybe he is the most valuable player in football, reigning MVP here, so it's tricky. In Green Bay, maybe I would stick with the Packers there. So that's what makes it tough here. Cardinals 49ers. Even, but right before going to record, I think the line's jumping around a little bit. It maybe went up to 1.5. The Cardinals favored by 1.5. And it kind of started there around 2.5, around there, if I'm not mistaken. Went down even when we hear Murray is, he's got the ankle situation. Maybe he won't play, even though I was feeling like he was going to play. But now I do think I can check right now. I think the live, if I want to look at the live line, I think the Cardinals are back to favored here. I think they're favored by 1.5. I want to say it is 1.5. They're favored by 1.5 now, so it actually is no longer even. Maybe some places still have even, but so that's kind of telling you, yeah, Murray's probably going to play. I think I kind of felt that the whole way, anyways. This is with Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray's not playing, I'm taking the 49ers. Definitely taking the 49ers if Kyler Murray's not playing for sure, and I'll be pretty confident with it. Murray's playing, which I think he is. I'm going to take the Cardinals. I think it'll be a tight one. The 49ers played them very well last time. It was a 17-7 final. 49ers were centimeters away from Trey Lance running in the end zone, and then they ran a stupid use check play on 4th down and inches, and those two plays changed the entire game. The 49ers, even though it was 17-7, they could have won that game. If they executed one of those, it could have changed the whole game. So the 49ers have a very good defensive game plan for the Cardinals last time. The Packers kind of showed some things that looked really good on film last Thursday night, so they kind of combined the two, and they could have some success. And I think teams could start to have a little more success than the no success on the Cardinals offense. And then Kyler Murray beat up. That plays a part as well. I'm still going with the Cardinals. I actually have the Cardinals scoring 3 more points than last time, and I think the 49ers could have a better game plan last time, but sometimes that's not all it. I look at I don't really – I should say the 49ers. I think the 49ers can have a better game plan even than last time when they held them 17, but that's not going to be enough. And just my prediction here, because I'm not a big fan of the 49ers secondary right now. I think even if they're they can stay tight in coverage, but I think even if they're tight in coverage, I still think you can beat them. You kind of just throw the ball up. They either get pass interference or they give up a big catch. So I think that's where the Cardinals were like, all right, they're going to have a good game plan. They're going to be tight in coverage. We just got to take those shots. We got to make those big plays. I think they do that. Enough of it. I don't think they do a whole lot, get a whole lot going on offense. I think a lot of running clock in this one as well. I got them scoring 20. I still don't fully trust the 49ers offense, but they are getting it going a little more. You saw the play calling was a lot better in the second half against the Bears. So I think it's going to be a really close game. I'm going to go Cardinals. 49ers definitely could win it. Again, if Kyler Murray's out, I'm for sure going with the 49ers. So we'll see. Sunday night, I got the Rams 30-23. If Derrick Henry was playing, it'd make it interesting because I do think Derrick Henry would have a day running against the Rams, and that could keep them on the sideline, a lot and really throw off their offense. So that would be interesting if that was the game. But I'm confident with the Rams with Derrick Henry out, but I still think it could be somewhat. Titans could be a little sneaky because the whole game plan against Titans is almost non-existent. I think the Rams have a good enough one there. I think just focus on getting after the quarterback. Like to stack the box. I think Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd can get after Tannehill. Tannehill's been a little sloppy under pressure this year too, so they might create some turnovers here. I think that Rams airing the ball downfield, they'll have success there. The Titans defense made some big plays in the end, but kind of giving up some things downfield, beat up at corner, So I think the Rams win with just getting the ball downfield and just outscoring the Titans every step of the way. Titans can be trying to play keep up, but yeah, I do think you can move the ball on the Rams. I don't know if it helps the Rams in this scenario where they've kind of played some weaker teams recently. Sometimes that happens. Teams have been playing like weaker teams, and then all of a sudden you play a pretty good team. Even though the Titans don't have Derrick Henry, they're still the hottest team in the AFC right now. So they kind of just hit you like you're not used to it. So sometimes that happens. So I think the Titans could have some success offensively. In LA Sunday night, Stafford getting the ball downfield, that passing attack, I think will be a problem with the Titans defense. So I got the Rams winning that game by 7. It's right around the line, 7.5. This one's pretty close to the line as well. I got the Steelers winning 24-17. Bears got things going offensively last week, even though they were an absolute disaster before then. My problem here is the Steelers defense compares pretty damn well to the Buccaneers defense in terms of schematically and how they run things there, what type of calls they have on defense. And that's where the Bears really struggle with the Bucs. They 3-4 defense, edge rushers are strong. They also got a really good blitz. They blitz a lot on top of that. There's not too many teams actually like that have the edge, but they have the plus the blitz. It's usually one or the other. So I think the Steelers will throw it all at Justin Fields here. And Bears will probably rely on the run too much. I think they'll get good pressure off the edge on Fields. Maybe create some turnovers, even though Fields had a heck of a game last week. So Steelers defense kind of wins this one. Bears, some injuries on defense, so they're starting to go downhill. We saw that second half against the 49ers. So Steelers will do enough offensively here. So I got them winning by 7, mainly their defense here. I just don't expect a ton of scoring in this one. I'd be surprised if the Bears, again, the Bears got going offensively last week, but maybe they dominate on the ground. Maybe the Steelers are just so amped up to get after Fields in the passing game because they can. It's very obvious they will be able to in this game. And they're focused on getting out there so he doesn't escape, that the Bears should maybe be able to run on them. So that would be the key for them. But I just really love the matchup, just the type of defense Steelers are, against the Bears. It's very similar to the Bucs, but the Steelers actually have a much better defense right now than the Bucs as well. And the 49ers had a pretty good defense, way different type of defense though. But the Bears did have some. They were getting field goals as a touchdown, so that was kind of the problem. So they got to turn those into 7. But I do like Steelers in this one on Monday night at home, and they kind of keep that streak alive. So that is my score predictions for Week 9. Do this every single Wednesday. We got straight up picks up. We got power rankings up. Trade deadline videos, grades. Odell Beckham video up with that situation. So check it out. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. Link down below for that and anything else you need. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.